Good morning, and we are live. There's a lot going on today. Some breaking news, so let's just dig right into it. Let's get to work. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. I hope you're having a good cup of coffee today. Oh, mine is banging. Mine is keeping me moving. We've got a update on Mitch McConnell. We do. Actually, well, it's not on Mitch McConnell. Governor Beshear is tired of waiting, tired of the bullshit. He has sent a request for information, a demand for information on what is going on. It has been, if you haven't been following what's going on with former Majority Leader Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, he was found in his home office, unresponsive, not breathing, heart not beating. He was given CPR by a staffer and picked up by the by EMS and taken to the hospital. He has been in intensive care for 23 or 24 days now, and we keep getting BS information from Republicans. John Thune says, "Oh, I had a good conversation with him 2 days after he was found completely unresponsive, with his heart not beating." We knew that was a lie. His wife, Elaine Chao, has hauled ass to China 3 days after it happened. And I think we know why now. I think we know why she hauled ass to China, because the hospital is waiting to hear from her before they unplug him. So yeah, she looks like she's going to try to stay in China till after August 3rd. We'll see what happens there. We will see what happens. There's a deadline. If Mitch McConnell is declared dead before August 3rd, a special election will be triggered. And the Republicans, they don't want that. They don't want that. They want to drag this out to the midterms. You remember Charles Booker? We talked about Charles Booker before. Won his primary to replace Mitch McConnell in this upcoming election in November. They don't want to move that election any closer because, well, the Trump regime looks like shit. They are the opposite of coattails right now, and the Republicans are in a sheer panic. They're trying to buy as much time in this race as possible. Yeah. Yeah. This is it's pathetic. It is sad. It is gross. Just let the man die in peace. I don't like the man. I don't agree with the man. I think he's done irreparable damage to our country with his antics over the Supreme Court. But for Christ's sake, he's a human being. Let the man die in peace. Let the man die in peace. This has happened. Thank God, when it was first reported, it was reported as though an airliner full of people had disappeared, had crashed into the ocean off of Karachi. Still a tragedy, but it was a cargo plane, a cargo transport plane, a Boeing 737. It was not full of people. It was full of packages and cargo. It was flying off the coast of Karachi. It was flying from the UAE to Karachi. K2 Airlines is a cargo airline out of Karachi, Pakistan. The plane, according to radar data, descended abruptly, then radically gained altitude, and then immediately plunged nose down, losing 22,400 feet per minute into, and then disappeared. They all assumptions are that it hit the water, and they're doing a search and rescue mission right now. I mean, just terrible, absolutely terrible. 5 people lost their lives, and you hate to see it. Not good news for Boeing at all. Their 737 track record right now is in trouble, in extreme trouble. And if you haven't been paying attention to the news, this has happened. We're going to get to the main part of the story here, and the main story here in just a little bit, but I want to get rid of some of this breaking news. There is a building trying to collapse in New York City. It is they latest on it is that they've braced it. We'll get there. I am going to shout out to the New York Times. They have so far the best article on exactly what's going on with this building, with the best graphics, best description. You see the picture down here at the bottom. It's the old Pfizer headquarters building. It was bought and to be converted to apartments. Well, they wanted more luxury suites, luxury town. They wanted the big expensive apartments at the top of the building, so they added about another 25% to the building. And apparently the engineering didn't go very well. This is a picture from outside the building, from across the way, again from the New York Times article. Kudos to them. But you can see, looking through the windows, the support buckles, what used to be the roof. You see the black line here across the center. That used to be the roof of the building. Everything above it is addition. Well, apparently, and you can see the addition is slanted downward. Apparently, the engineering didn't work out so well. People started reporting that shit was falling off the building. Bricks, you see the facade has popped off in a few places. Yeah, that had to be freaking terrifying. It just, shit just hitting the street, pardon my language. But not as terrifying as being inside that building. Those workers, I have to tell you, take my hat off to them. Take my hat off to them. They are something else, man. These are some brave souls. They've evacuated every building in the area around it. It still remains evacuated, but yeah, it is. I mean, this is something else. This is a picture one of the workers took from the inside of the building before it was evacuated. You can see the ceiling is buckling downward. You can see the steel support structures from the old building have buckled and collapsed. The inner walls are, of course, buckling. Everything. The ceiling is pancaking down. They don't know what's going to happen with the building now. I'm going to assume they're probably going to have to demolish the entire damn building, because I don't know how you would save that. And to be quite honest with you, this is something I was trying to dig up, and for some reason, every damn news article, thank you for asking this, who owns the building now? None of the articles are saying, and I'm still trying to dig on that. Next Friday, by Friday, I will know who owns that building now, and I can't find the name of the construction company either. The reporting has been more about what is happening, not who's responsible for it. We will get that. The remaining buildings are still evacuated. The city is saying that they've stabilized it, but I'm not putting bets on that. But I have to say, like I said, kudos to these workers. That those bright lights you see, that is welding. They are welding supports in there to try to keep the building stabilized. These people went back inside this building. Kudos to them. I mean, that is incredible bravery. That is incredible bravery. You have a building that is buckling. You know it. You can see it. You can see it starting to lean. You can see, and they went back in that building and did their job anyways. So yeah, salute to those workers. Um, I can't imagine. I mean, let me ask you, how much would you live in that building for free? When it's done, would you live in one of those apartments for free? I'll ask you an even better question. How much would you have to be paid to live in one of those apartments? I would not live in that building. I would not shop around that building. I would not, I don't see how they save this. I don't. I really don't. You're not going to just be able to jack it up. And they're going to have to go through the engineers are going to have to go through this building top to bottom, top to bottom. There's just no way this project is going to be allowed to continue. It isn't there. I will bet that we see in a few months some demolition footage of that building being dropped in its footprint. Um, yeah, I just don't see how you pull this off. I don't. How do you come back from this? I mean, you can't jack it up. You can't. I mean, what are you gonna do? This is wow. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. That is not the only breaking news that we have had. Emmanuel Macron was in a meeting with Ahmed al Shara in Damascus, Syria, at the Four Seasons Hotel, and multiple bombs went off outside the hotel. We have a video for you. Um, Macron was not hurt. Shara was not hurt. But it was an obvious coordinated attempt. One second. It was an obvious coordinated. I'm going to play this video for you a couple times, and then I'm going to slowly walk through it. So you can see where the explosion is from. This video is of the second explosion. You can see in the video there's already a vehicle burning about a half a block up. This is from the second explosion. Again, I'm gonna play this through for you twice, and then I want to draw your attention to something. Before I play it, though, you see that metal. There's a black lamp post and a power pole, what looks like a galvanized power pole, and a black lamp post and a white van. There's a white van on the corner. That's what I want you to keep an eye on. Now, if you look at the very center of the screen, you can see there's already an explosion that has happened. These are first responders and civilians trying to, tend to the wounded, trying to, just responding to the original explosion. This was set up. This second explosion was obviously set up to kill first responders. This is just terrorism in the extreme. More time. Yeah. I'm going to walk through this, pause, just advance it. If you look here at the darker colored front of the van, that is where the explosion comes from. Someone across the street is filming the original explosion, and then you'll see the fan. Boom! There it goes. There it goes. Whoever built this bomb was technically proficient because that van is not lifted off the ground. There's no wasted energy in this bomb. That van doesn't even rock in the explosion. All of the, if you'll see as I slowly advance through, you can see that is a directed charge. They intended that explosion to blow straight back at the hotel. And you can see several first responders were caught up in it. But yeah, I was watching that van doesn't lift off the ground. It doesn't roll over. It doesn't nothing. That blast blows directly backwards into the crowd. That was absolutely a pro, a real pro. They knew to how long to delay it, to allow first responders to react. Just exactly. Pure evil. Pure evil. Pure evil. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on in the world right now. Trump has been he went to the NATO summit in Turkey. That did not go well. But before we get there, there's something I want to cover within the Democratic Party. I'm ride or die. I am. I argued hard for Plattner not to drop out of the race. The first allegations came from a Republican operative, a woman by the name of Fifield. She's worked for Susan Collins. I did not give her an ounce of clout at all. I didn't, I absolutely did not. I absolutely argued that I am not going to, given who the Republicans support for president and their history. No, I'm not going to walk the high road on that one. I wasn't going to. But there have been new allegations that have come out. One by the name of Jenny Racketcoat has come out, and her allegations are 100% credible. This is not something that we can just shrug off. We can't. This isn't a Republican operative. This isn't somebody that is saying shit that doesn't exactly make sense. No, this is someone that has come forward and brought receipts. She had contemporary text messages that she'd sent to someone that she was warning not to date Graham Plattner. Yeah, this was years before he ran for office. This is not something that, that was released just to bury his campaign. These text messages were, again, contemporary. They weren't contemporaneous. It wasn't a text message the day it happened. It was post when it happened, but it was this person warning someone else about dating Graham Plattner. Yeah, sexual assault is no freaking joke, and I cannot support that. I cannot. He needs to drop out of the race. He does. He needs to step aside. This is just too much, too far. This is nothing that no one can shrug this off. We are not Republicans. We are not. I'm all for taking the low road. I'm all for not being polishing up our principles and all that other shit and rolling up our sleeves and get down into that fight. But we are not Republicans. We are not. We are not somebody that can have somebody like a Trump as our leader. That is not what we do. So yeah, He has until next Monday to withdraw, and the Democratic Party can name a replacement, which is what needs to happen. The Democratic Party, several people have withdrawn endorsements already, but this is a statement from the main Democratic Party. I will read it to you. From the Maine Democrats, statement from the Maine Democratic Party leadership on allegations against Graham Plattner, Augusta, Maine. Dateline, Augusta, Maine. Maine Democratic Party leadership takes seriously our responsibility to hold every candidate who seeks to represent our state to the highest standard. Over the past several weeks, multiple women have made serious, credible allegations against Graham Plattner. Today's statements take those allegations even further. Maine Democratic Party leadership is calling on Graham Plattner to withdraw as a Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate. The Maine Democratic Party leadership stands with women and survivors, and that principle does not bend based on party affiliation. We respect the women who made the hard decision to come forward. Speaking up is often costly. We are entrusted with deciding who represents our values and who carries our banner. That responsibility requires judgment, leadership, and a willingness to act when circumstances demand it. The Senate race comes at a pivotal moment in the struggle against a government supported by Senator Collins. That serves the interest of the wealthy and powerful at the expense of ordinary Maine people. It is essential that we refocus the campaign on that struggle. Signed Charlie Dingman, Chair, M.K. Schessler, Vice Chair, and Devin Murphy Anderson, the Executive Director of Maine Democrats. Kudos to them for speaking up. Kudos to them for speaking up. I'm going to expose my own warts here. I'm sorry. Flaw in my character, judge me as you will. But no, not Fifield. Not the first allegation, not from a Republican operative, not from a Republican political operative that failed to disclose that she was a Republican political operative, failed to disclose that she was working for the opposing candidate, had worked for the opposing candidate. No, no. I'm with you. You know, believe survivors. I'm with you. But when something stinks, don't fail to ask questions. That's where I'll leave that. That's where I'll leave that. But yeah, we are watching. There are Democrats, both national and local Democrats, that are putting pressure on Graham Plattner to resign. 1 second. One second. Troy Jackson, who is about the tallest hog at the trough when it comes to Democrats in the state right now, has filed paperwork with the Democratic Party expressing his interest to replace Graham Plattner, and he's come out and made a statement saying that it would be self-serving if Plattner stays in the race. So yeah, people are already moving in the background, both locally and nationally, to make this happen so that we have a decent candidate to go up against Susan Collins, because this is way, way too important. I will say this. I don't care what Democrat is on that ticket. I do not care what Democrat. If Graham Plattner is a selfish son of a bitch and he stays on that ticket, yeah, fuck Susan Collins. We have to take this government back. We do. It sickens me to say this. Just sickens me to say this out loud. But we have to take the government back. We have to take the Senate back. We need that entire branch of government. And I don't give a fuck who is on the ballot. And I'll tell you, that just sickens me to say that out loud. That we are here. That we are here. That the Republicans have shown themselves to be so dangerous as a party that we are here. That we even have to have that discussion. But yeah, it is nasty business, and I'm extremely angry that Graham Plattner let it get this far. You know if that stuff is in your background before you decide to run. You know. And it's just damn selfish. It is just damn selfish. And no, it is not. I wish it was a fake smear campaign. I wish it was. But when the victim can produce text messages from before there was a candidate, before there was a campaign to smear, talking about this, no. Not a smear campaign. But yeah, so Trump absolutely humiliated us in Ankara in Turkey. It's just one thing after another with that guy. It is just one thing after another with that guy. Mark Rutte, the secretary. One second. I've got somebody I got to take care of. Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, glazed Trump. This is just, pathetic. This is just pathetic. This is what people have to do because of Trump. This is so humiliating, self-deprecating. This is taking every bit of your character, every bit of your self-respect, and throwing it in the shitter. It is pathetic. It is just pathetic. And you can, when I play this for you, just listen to the insincerity, just how fake this fucking is.
And that is important. Yeah. I could not do this without you.
It's too bad Biden didn't do it, or Obama.
Hey, but you are here now.
Obama.
And you and Trump 45 and Trump 47. In total, more than $1.2 trillion. I call this the Trump trillion.
No, it's true.
$1.2 trillion extra spent by Canada and the
And I'm not only blaming NATO. They got a free ride. And
not
if
anymore.
Biden had any brain, which he didn't, he would have said, you got to pay more. And same with Obama. Two bad presidents. But they could have asked, and you would have done that too. It would have been, who knows? Who knows if they would have done
it happen? And it is huge.
It should have happened years ago, and it couldn't. But Obama didn't do it, and Biden didn't do it, and frankly, Bush didn't do it either.
But you did what Eisenhower started trying to do, equalizing the
He
Europeans.
tried, yeah. Eisenhower tried.
And all the other presidents, none of them were successful. You were the first one. It's your win. Your win in the Hague.
That's why I like him.
And your win now.
That's why I like him.
This is true. Without you, this would not have happened. Really,
do you have any questions?
Don't know how he glazed that knob so deeply without gagging. Mark Rutte is not stupid. He knows that our NATO allies had already increased their military spending before Trump was ever reelected. He knows the the work that the Biden administration did to share responsibility with our NATO allies. He commended the Biden administration, commended them for their work. Mark Rutte knows all of this, yet he did this anyways. He slobbered that knob because he knows what Trump is. He knows how easily handled Trump is. He knows how easily manipulated Trump is. You just pay him some compliments and he will do whatever you want him to do. There is no leadership. I call it flying by your crap-filled pants is what this guy does. There is no plan. There is no stated direction. There is no leadership. There's nothing. He's constantly just reacting. And who he's reacting to is who is bribing him and who is glazing his knob. That's it. That's it. There is no leadership at all. And everybody has figured it out. And it's just, it's grossly humiliating. It is grossly humiliating, but not every leader is putting up with that shit. Mette Frederiksen, the Prime Minister of Denmark, has clarified Trump has gone after Greenland again. And yeah, the Danish Prime Minister is not having it. She is a real leader. She is a real leader.
I heard the U.S. president yesterday, and I think the U.S. position is unfortunately very clear on this topic. And our position is as clear as it has been all through. Greenland is, of course, not for sale. We hope that all, including all allies, will respect the Greenlandic people's right for self-determination. And we are a sovereign state, and we need everybody to respect our territorial integrity and our sovereignty.
Wait for it.
Is Denmark ready to militarily defend Greenland? An extraordinary premise, but is it ready to militarily defend Greenland if there is an attack from any party?
We are ready to defend every inch of NATO, including our own territory.
That's where we are. That's where we are. Allies becoming former allies. Allies having to publicly proclaim that, yes, we will fight you. This is where this imbecilic crap stain of a president has drug us. The most unfit person to ever sit in the Oval Office. The worst president in United States history has brought us here. The Danish Prime Minister is having to explain to reporters that, yes, we will absolutely fight the United States over our territorial sovereignty. This is where we are. And I wish I could tell you this was the bottom. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. This is Trump talking about Spain.
I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it out. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate. They don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please, including visits. Okay, we don't want anything to do. Watch them come running back. Oh, they'll come running back. They treat this man terribly, and this man's a good man too, great man. They're lucky they have him. But Spain doesn't agree to anything, and you shouldn't carry him. I mean, you sort of automatically carry because you're protecting an area, so they're there. So they probably figure they have to protect us, right? But we don't have to. We don't have to trade with them. I don't want to do any more trade with them. All right?
Sure.
Take it immediately. You don't even talk to them. They're hopeless.
So yeah, Trump just proclaims that no, we're not going to live up to our responsibilities to NATO. Spain is in NATO. No, we're not going to protect them, and we're going to punish Spain because Spain hurt his feelings over Iran. Yeah, that's why we're here, folks, because Spain has told Israel, go fuck yourselves. What you're doing is criminal. What you're doing to the Palestinian people is genocide, and it's illegal. Then when we attacked Iran, Spain said that is an illegal war. We will not support it. Your planes will not fly over our territory. Your ships will not use our ports. We do not support this. So that is what the American president says and does in response. It's because they have no plan. They're constantly reacting. They're constantly making it up as they go. Trump flies by the seat of his crap-filled pants on everything. And it's all about how does it play on Fox? Do we look like tough guys? Ooh. It's fucking pathetic. It is pathetic. The piss poor caliber of leadership that we have. And I wish I could say that was the worst of it. It is not. It is not. This was Trump arriving. This is how weak and old. Watch him lumber along. I mean, just look how weak and pathetic he looks here. "80-year-old makeup-clad weakling president has to be guided around by the arm by another old, Erdogan is these two geriatric old men. I mean, does anyone see this and see strength? Does anyone see this and not see anyone other than somebody that we can wait this one out? He's not long for the world. Just lumbering around, clearly not briefed on what's going to happen when he gets off the plane. I mean, clearly, again, flying by the seat of his crap-filled pants. And that was day one. That was day one. But this was Trump on Iran. If you haven't heard what's going on, I'll give you an update here in just a second.
Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over.
She asks if the memorandum of understanding is dead. She barks the question out very quickly, so it may have been difficult for you to hear. I just want to be clear about that. She's asking, is the memorandum, the peace deal with Iran, is it dead?
Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to remind everybody, Iran did not attack us. Iran did not attack Israel. This was a war of choice that we engaged in because our president was in deep, deep trouble over the Epstein files, his failure in Venezuela, his failure, people were angry about what he was doing with our Danish brothers and sisters over Greenland. There was so much piled on to his complete failure that he thought, oh, well, we'll just, rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. We'll just have a quick little spat with Iran. We'll just bomb some people just to give, Fox News some footage to air, and it'll be fine. And with no plan, flying by the seat of his crap-filled pants, drug us into a war that Iran won. Iran won this war. You can bomb them. You can keep bombing them. Go ahead. Doesn't matter. Because Iran is going to end the global economy, and everyone knows it. I want you to put a pin in that because we're going to come back to it. I want to get to our main story about our Canadian brothers and sisters and what is going on with them, because it circles back to this. It circles back to this. But just a quick update. This is the Dow today. Right now, so far, it's plummeting. Oil prices, I haven't even looked at oil prices. Yep, they're ratcheting back up. Oil prices are ratcheting back up. Yeah. We're back up to almost $76 a barrel for WTI for West Texas Intermediate crude. Almost 80 a barrel for Brent. No leadership. None whatsoever. No leadership at all. And he's surrounded by people that are incompetent. You got little Marco at the State Department. You've got Scott Bessent over at Treasury. You've got, you've just name an important cabinet position, and they're filled with incompetent sycophants, all doing their own thing because there is no leadership at all. And folks, we are out of time. We are out of time. Our reserves are down to next to nothing. We are going to start falling into, and again, a lot of people don't understand, why hasn't gas pumped up to $6 a gallon, $7 a gallon? That's the future. That is the future. Because so far, the entire world has burned through its petroleum reserves. And it would take time. We talked about that. We talked about we knew exactly at the rate that we were going through oil when we were going to run out. We've got 2 weeks left. Then the global economy goes into deficit, energy deficit. There will be no more reserves to cover our asses, to pretend everything's going to be okay. We've got 2 weeks left, and then you will start to see the beginning of what will turn into hyperinflation if something isn't permanently put in place. Put a pin in that, because our main story, talking to Canada, actually circles back around to this. This is where we are. Before we get into what we were talking about with Canada and what's going on with Canada and why things are going south with Canada right now, and look, I don't know how many times we have to do this. If you're new, you're probably not aware of this, but just ask some of the people in chat. They're keenly aware of this. We will discuss an issue here that is happening, that is unfolding next week. Within a couple days, you'll start to hear the mainstream media talk about it. If it is a major issue that they cannot deny, cannot hide, cannot, do the bidding of this administration to kind of, glaze over the story, you will start to hear about it in 2 days to a week after we talk about it here. This is one that cannot be avoided. This is a disaster of our own making. It is. And for the sake of those that haven't been here, I will go into the background. There was a lead up to this. But before we do that, I want to catch up with the comment. I'm getting way behind on the comments. I want to read your comments. Donna, did you? I appreciate it. I know I'm mispronouncing your name, and I know you've corrected me multiple times, and I am terribly sorry. I don't mean to be rude, and you know how much that bothers me. If you could correct me again, I would be really grateful. Morning all. Texas Paul, do you think the latest Iran strikes and tirades on Spain and Greenland are due to the success of Katie Fang and her Epstein court cases? No. I don't think that helps. I don't think that helps. They are in trouble. They are in crisis, so they're flailing around. But the core cause of this is really simple. They're screwed. Iran won this war. They know what it looks like. They know this is affecting their base. They tried to play tough guy. They tried to make demands. Israel tried to put a poison pill into the negotiations. And Iran said no. And they told everybody, look, your little path that you think that you're taking over by the coast of Oman to get out of the Persian Gulf without paying us, that doesn't work for us. They warned everyone. They warned every ship. If you have not negotiated with us, you do not get through the Strait of Hormuz. A tanker tried to go through, and they blew the shit out of that tanker. And every other ship, you can watch, go to Ship Finder, every other ship turned back around and went right back into the Gulf. This is about Iran expressing, we control this deal. We control this deal. That's what this is about. And Trump, narrative is everything. Narrative is everything. Trump will burn the global economy to the ground before he lets Fox News run a story that says Trump bent over, grabbed his ankles, and Iran just took him to town, which is the story that would happen if the negotiations continued on the way they were going. Everyone's going to have to accept the reality, folks. We're going to eat a gigantic shitburger over this. Trump did this. They did it stupidly. Netanyahu is responsible for this. We are going to eat a massive shitburger over this. The people that were, and again, just to recap, Iran, its currency was collapsing. They were in hyperinflation. They were facing a violent revolt. That is all over. They've had an infusion of cash. The leaders of that revolution are hanged or are being hanged as we speak. They're hanging them by the dozens daily. Iran walked out of this smelling like a rose. And it's all Trump's fault. And it's not a good thing. I mean, I know everybody enjoys. I just want to say this again. I know everybody, and thank you for the comment. Thank you for the comment. I know everybody enjoys the Lego videos. I know everybody's having a reset on how you look at the Middle East. It's smart. It is smart to look at this based on reality and not the bullshit that comes out of our media. That's all well and good. But Iran is not your friend. Iran is not your friend. Iran does things like pour acid on women who want to walk down the street without wearing a hijab. They are not your friend. This is a gigantic shit burger that everyone is going to have to eat because Trump is the most incompetent son of a bitch to ever sit in the Oval Office. ET, people, the oil shock is almost here. Real experts are saying that crude oil futures should be selling at 130 barrel instead of over half of the current trading cost. U.S. strategic oil reserves are at a 43-year low. Yeah, folks, well said, sir. Well said. Everybody is telling you exactly why oil futures are trading as low as they are. It is because every major institutional investor has left the oil market. When Trump manipulates the market, and you see, we've shown it on this show, where these trades come in 10 minutes, 15 minutes before Trump makes an announcement. That's not free. There's a loser on the other end of that deal, and that loser is you. That is an institutional investor that has lost money, not their money, your money, your retirement, your 401ks, your pension plans that are flowing into whoever is grifting on behalf of Trump, because we see those trades, or we've seen it over and over and over again. Well, these institutional investors have a fiduciary responsibility to their customers. They cannot keep doing this. They have pulled out of the oil market. And that is what artificially drove down, and we talked about it, real world price of oil per barrel that they're having to pay at refineries to buy oil versus the bullshit price that is on the futures market, the NYMEX market in New York, that has no basis in reality, that is plunged because institutional investors have abandoned the oil market. They have abandoned the oil market. So future prices are going to shoot up. They are, but not like they should. You know, as ET so eloquently pointed out, they should be trading around about 120 to 130 a barrel right now. Every expert out there is saying this disparity, it can't last. It will not last. The oil reserves are not there. You're going to see fuel prices, which is a separate market that is astronomically high right now, that is reacting absolutely real world, reacting to the shortages that are out there of gasoline and diesel. And come wintertime, heating oil is going to be astronomically expensive because of this. Because if they made a deal today, it would take 6 months for the market to work through all of these shortages. The real world shortages of oil, because people would be buying to refill those reserves that are empty on top of everything they're using. 6 months to a year minimum. Yeah, this is a mess. This is a disaster. And they're just trying to push it out past the midterms. Silly Bebo, He's probably in rigor tortoise. Yeah, I'm talking about Mitch. That was hilarious. I don't know who coined that phrase, but that is freaking hilarious. You know, we always make fun of Mitch for looking like a turtle. Rigor tortoise. That has gone epically viral. Salute, silly Bebo. Salute. Kyra loves Michael. Thanks for supporting the show, Kyra. Thanks for always being there. Thank you. Leonard Campbell, breaking news. Trump said boots on the ground is possible in Iran. Yeah, they're going to run their mouths. They are. But I'm telling you, that will not happen. It will not happen. Folks, Canada has 42 million people in it. Iran has 90. I can't stress this enough. It is not Iraq. There is no way to engage in a war in Iran without completely switching over the United States economy to a full-on wartime economy. That is shuttering factories and reopening them building uniforms, reopening them building, equipment, tactical gear, helmets, vehicles, MRAPs, Bradley fighting vehicles, tanks, aircraft. There's no way to fight a war of that scale. Somebody, I can't even say it because they'll take my show down. Let me just say, how do I say this without getting my show taken down? Trump would be able to have an in-person conversation with Jack Kennedy. He would. Let me just say that. That's what would happen. Chandra Patton, didn't Shiv get about Mitch, but geez. Oh, didn't Shiv get gotcha. Yeah, she didn't give a shit. I'll say it for you. But geez, to keep him on life support for political reasons is just sick. It is inhumane. It is good to see you, Clarence. Thank you for always being here supporting the show. Good to see you, man. Jenna, welcome. 1 month member. Good to see you. Good to see you. E.T. Putin's still doing double tap attacks on Ukraine. Yep. Putin's doing the exact same thing as we saw in that terrorist attack. They will attack civilian infrastructure, and then when the first responders and people respond, they attack it again. They're doing double tap attacks. They're war crimes, committing war crimes. Clarence, WD, I was an electrician on an office building 26 years ago that started to sag because the glass walls added weight. Union iron workers saved it. Did they? That's going to be interesting to see. That is going to be interesting to see, brother. That is. I couldn't imagine. Thank you for the information, Clarence. Thank you. Alice Triona. ProPublica says Paxton is voting illegally. Yeah, oh shit. Mike Daly, the Dim. Good news. Good morning, brother. The Plattner news definitely sucks, but Maine has some excellent options when he drops out. Amen. I think it's going to end up being Troy Jackson. It's just a speculation on my part. I think it's going to end up being Jackson. E.T. Thing is, why is this coming out now? That I don't know, that argument would be a stronger argument if she didn't have contemporary, texts about it. It may have been that she just felt that was it. I don't think she even knew about the deadlines, to be quite honest with you. That is something that your average person didn't know. That was something that I immediately went to go dig for. I didn't even know the deadlines myself, and I follow this shit. I don't think lay people I don't think she understood there was a deadline, I don't. That is something that came out after everybody was like, "Oh shit, this is real." What are the options going forward now? People started looking at what was going on. What does the law say? So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that to me, man. It just doesn't feel like a last minute hit job. I think a lot of people are making assumptions about something that they didn't even know existed just prior to this coming out. DTQ, is it true that Plattner refuses to step down unless he can personally pick the replacement? He is trying to make, I am certain, trying to make the best deal he can make for himself. That's what I'm thinking. He is trying to make the best deal he can make for himself going forward into the future. And if he can pick somebody that will owe him for doing that, it will serve him. But yeah, his back's up against the wall. I mean, he will be a pariah. He will. Skeet Sayre, comedy Trump Farage was in trouble, so he stepped down, then rewent for the spot. No other party put anyone up. Then Count Boniface put his name in. I do not know what you mean by that. I do not know what you mean by that, brother. I don't. Sharon Butler, thank you for being so generous with the memberships. Thank you. Kasana Zisti. What a name. I love that name. Kasana Zisti. She is legit. She has receipts from years ago. Yeah, that's why I came out and said what I said. Dumpster Chicken, welcome. Couple more and we're going to get back to work. Matakula, never hated anyone more than this orange criminal in my life. I feel like this is a psychological torture to make me feel like this. Yeah. Great comment. Think about our 250th anniversary. Yeah, that's over, by the way. I mean, did this 4th of July even feel like a regular 4th of July, much less our 250th national anniversary? And then just think back about it. I mean, the scummy UFC Dana White, cage brawl, octagon brawl on the White House, and the classless shit, the utter failure of our national state fair that they had because nobody wanted to come out. Finding out that he's grifting funds. Fuck this guy. Rena Scott, I live in Missouri and sent a donation to Plattner's campaign, but he needs to drop out now. A lot of people feel that way. Skeets here. We could easily say no one is like Trump until you remember Henry Ford and Woodrow Wilson. Yeah. There have been scummy people in history, but this is by far the worst president in history. Wings Clip Flyboy voted for Plattner in the primary. Fear progressive influence will be lost with a Plattner withdrawal, but I will vote for whoever the Democratic candidate in November, ride or die, is in November, ride or die. That will come down to how do we react to it? If it is just overwhelming that we ourselves say, drop the fuck out of the race, yeah, there's going to be a few people that are upset, but if it's overwhelming, people aren't going to, they will recover better. If this is Plattner's fault and not their fault, people will recover better. They will. Skeets here. U.S. hubris is insane. Sweden and Finland are more of an asset than they realize, just like how Canada is buying German subs and Swedish jets. Yeah. I mean, there's so much going on this front. Brenda Triplett, I refer to all this as the Trump curse. Yep. Marta, Paul, did you know that Plattner comes from wealth and his parents continue to help him? Yeah, I knew he came from, wealth is a subjective thing. But yeah, he didn't grow up a poor boy. No. Family business. Skeets here, the only scum on screen is the orange idiot. Yep. All right. Let's get back into it. If you're a longtime member of the show, be patient. We're going to recap some of the stuff that we've covered in the past. We talked about the Gordie Howe Bridge. We talked about how scummy what was going on with the Gordie Howe Bridge was. This is the Ambassador Bridge. This is the existing bridge from Detroit to Windsor, Canada. This is the Ambassador Bridge. It is a privately owned bridge. It was owned by a company called Sintra that was owned by the Maroon family. It is owned by Matthew Maroon. This effing guy. Canada, by the way, it's just this effing guy. That's it. That's it. It's this effing guy right here. They built the Gordie Howe Bridge. Canada fit the bill to build the Gordie Howe Bridge because the Ambassador Bridge is old as hell. It's privately owned. People were tired of getting soaked. Canada wanted something that was just straight up business. So they funded the construction of this bridge to the tune of $6.4 billion. And it is done. It's built. It was supposed to open about a week ago. They were supposed to have the ribbon cutting on it. It is ready to go. But 1 second. Maroon dropped $1 million in Trump's lap. So Trump picked a fight with Canada. Said the new bridge isn't opening. It was plain as day. It was out in the open. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows what it's about. Everybody saw it happen. We had a segment on the show about this, just how corrupt this was, just how awful this was. To give you some idea, this is where we're talking about. Let's go to the map. This is the Ambassador Bridge here in Detroit. See the red dot in the center of the screen? That is the Ambassador Bridge. Canada foot the bill themselves. We didn't have to. Trump, one of the things we talked about was we were getting such a bad deal. What's the bad deal? They paid for it. They paid for it. And this is the Gordie Howe Bridge just up the river just a little ways. This is the Ambassador. Of course, it's not built the last time they had, but it is now built. This is where the Gordie Howe Bridge is right now. It exists. It's done. All of this construction is done. Just a little background information as to what we're looking at. That was gross. That was just gross. It was. When that happened, it was just out in the open, corruption and inexcusable. So for the mainstream media, it was a half-day story. They don't even talk about it. We've got a $6.5 billion bridge that is complete, just sitting there, no one can use. And the mainstream media isn't touching it. Meanwhile, the Trump administration, you've got Pete Hoekstra, who is the ambassador to Canada. I'm sorry again, Canada. I have to apologize for that. That's not any, that's just this is humiliating to have Pete Hoekstra be the ambassador to anything, much less to one of our most critical allies. This is a slap in the face to have Pete Hoekstra have this job, period. But he is a sycophant. He is. He is willing to sit and lie. He is willing to just make shit up. He's been going to podcasts because the mainstream media will not touch it as a story. I mean, again, $6.5 billion bridge paid for by Canada, just sitting there. But you've got Pete Hoekstra, the United States ambassador to Canada, going to podcasts all over the place, trying to sell this, that it's a big myth that Canada paid for the Gordie Howe Bridge. This is what he said. This is what he said. That's the big myth that is out there, the funding of the bridge, Hoekstra said. I think it's important that people realize this. He explained that the Canadian government loaned the authority behind the bridge $4.5 to $5 billion. It's actually $6.4 billion. Canada is serving as the bank for the bridge, the ambassador said. The expectations is that over the years, as the bridge generates revenue, the bridge will be paid back. So the bridge will actually be paid for by the folks who are using the bridge. It will not be paid for by the Canadian government. It was already paid for by the Canadian government. Yes. Do they intend to make revenues from it? Of course they do. But yes, Canada paid for the fucking bridge. We did not. Not a dime. Not a fucking dime. Canada paid for it all so that we could have better access to trade. It's better for everybody. It's going to be a more reliable, more efficient, and cheaper bridge than what's already there. But the Ambassador Bridge, the guy that owns the Ambassador Bridge, dumped $1 million on Trump, and suddenly Trump will not open that fucking bridge. He will not do it. And Pete Hoekstra, because again, we have shit everywhere from the Trump administration. Every freaking job you look at has somebody in the job that is the absolute shittiest person you could put in that job. You have Pete Hoekstra running around lying, slapping the Canadian people in the fucking face, saying, well, they didn't fund the bridge. They just funded the bridge. They are going to get paid back. Let me say that again. Pete Hoekstra is telling the dumbest among us, MAGA, who are just eating it up. Canada didn't pay for the bridge. Oh, really? Who paid for it? Who paid for it to be built? Well, Canada did. Well, then shut the fuck up. This is the level of idiocy that is MAGA. This is out in the open. The guy that owns the old fucked up bridge drops $1 million in Trump's pack. Trump does not allow the new bridge that will cut into their revenue to open. Just doesn't do it. It hurts us. It hurts you, MAGA. That trade is important to our economy. He's hurting you. But hey, Pete Hoekstra says, well, the Canadians didn't pay for it. We got a bad deal. That's what Trump said. It was a bad deal. They paid for the whole damn bridge. No, that's a myth. They didn't pay for it. Eventually, they're going to make their money back, so they didn't pay for it. What? These are the same people talking about everything's communism. Everything's communism. But these folks are going to make their money back as a bad thing? The investor, the Canadian government that invested in building this bridge can't make any money back? Come on, man. Come on. This is where we started. Then, Trump's tariffs on Canada, needlessly and stupidly, Trump slapped tariffs on one of our friendliest trading partners that we already had trade agreements with. So Canada responded. And Canada said, fine. You want to play that way? Keep your booze. And they put restrictions on wine and spirits imports into Canada, which is a big deal, by the way. I mean, you're talking about billions of dollars in trade gone. Canada, rightfully so, protected themselves and said, look, you want to slap tariffs on all of our goods? We're not importing your booze anymore. Canadians can drink Canadian booze. 8 out of 10 provinces have it's controlled at the provincial level, have said no American booze. There's 2, Saskatchewan and Alberta. Alberta, you could call it Alabama, Berta. And Saskatchewan is like, just call it Arctic Texas. It is the most right-winging, have allowed under restrictions some American booze in. So this is where we're at. Canada is dealing with graft, bullying, stupidity, tariffs on products that we need. Have you tried to buy lumber lately? It ain't cheap, people. We needed that Canadian lumber. They slapped tariffs all over, everything. So the Canadians responded, and it worked. It put a lot of pressure on us here in the United States. We're talking about losing $500 million in 2024. I mean, it's worked. It's worked. If you looked at this graph, I mean, this is, booze sales in Canada were going swimmingly. And then boom, sales are just gone. Well, people are hurt because of it. Businesses are hurt. And we're talking mid-sized to small businesses are being hurt. But it's because of a stupid trade war that Trump started for no fucking reason, just like the war in Iran. There was no massive trade problem with Canada. There just wasn't. It's kind of like when they slapped tariffs on the UK. The disparity between the UK and the US was 0.2 percentage points. It was a meeting. It was a day lunch to negotiate this if you really, really had a problem with it. But, here comes Trump wanting to look tough, telling them, ooh, I'm tough. MAGA, we're tough. We're not taking this no more. And he blew everything up. And then here come the bribes. So how are they responding? How do you think the Republicans are responding? They're going to try more bullying. This is Republican Claudia Tenney. She's from New York's 24th U.S. Congressional District. Looks like a nice lady, doesn't she? she's put a bill out she calls the Canada Act. I do not know why she calls it the Canada Act. They tried to style it to come up with the letters Canada, but it didn't work. The bill is called the Combating Attacks on Our National Alcohol Drinks by Allies Act, or the Kaunadal Act, but they want to call it the Canada Act. They're just leaving some words out. The Canada Act, it's a problem. It is a problem. It is an attempt to bully their way out of this situation. And to give you some idea how swimmingly it's going, the amount of pressure that Claudia Tenney feels under is, if you go to her Wikipedia page under party, it says Conservative Party. Doesn't even say Republican. She is a Republican, by the way, but she's ditched the moniker. Yeah. Things are going so well up there for her. The 24th district, just FYI, is one of those districts that's carved out that New York needs to deal with. They need to break that district up. It is a completely rural district. If you take from Buffalo, Niagara, the outskirts of that, north of Buffalo, in the rural area, then I think it's Rockford right there. Then you go south of that and then back up to Watertown. It's all rural. It is a special district just for her, which needs to be broken up. I highly recommend that you take a look at what the CBC has to say about this, Canadian Broadcasting, because there is nothing in the American media about this bill. Why is this bill such a problem? Well, it is bullying. Is all it is bullying. This is Jamieson Greer, the U.S. Trade Representative. Jamieson Greer, we've talked about this guy in the past. What this bill does, all this bill does, is it legally orders Jamieson Greer here to open an investigation under Section 301 of the Trade Act. Section 301 deals with unfair tariffs. The way the Trade Act is written, Section 301 makes Jamieson Greer judge and jury on whether or not that trade is unfair. Yeah. Jamieson Greer will be ordered under this law to conduct an investigation that he will conduct on his own. Then he will be ordered under Section 301 of the Trade Act to determine whether or not the trade response by Canada is fair or unfair. Then, under 301 of the Trade Act, he is given sole authority to slap additional tariffs on Canada in response. See, the Supreme Court overruled Trump's blanket tariffs. This is how they intend to slap more tariffs on Canada. I assume to elicit more bribes. I assume to, there's no point to this. This is sheer stupidity, extreme stupidity. We are not in a crisis with Canada. We've talked about trade before, and this is the kind of thing that they're trying to use to claim it's unfair. I want you to take a look at this graph. This is U.S. spirits trade with Canada. Now that's spirits. That's not wine. It's just spirits. In 2015, Canada imported 383 million to the United States. We exported 230 million to Canada. That's right. They send more to us. Canadian whiskey, anybody? Very popular. By 2024, we were at 621 million, almost, over $500 million a year in sales of Canadian spirits here in the United States, imported here to the United States. We exported 324 million, almost 325 million to Canada. And they're saying that's not fair. And in 2025, they imported 673 million to us. We only imported 176 million to them due to the punishment the Canadians put on our spirits and wine imports. Why is this a disingenuous argument about whether or not this trade is fair? That graph is designed for stupid people that do not understand trade. We've talked about this before. I gave you the example of you've got a tropical island that raises pineapples. Think Hawaii, that raises pineapples. You want to buy their pineapples. Make up a name for the nation. You want to buy their pineapples. Okay, great. You get pineapples. Fantastic. Well, they're going to need to buy some equipment. So they're going to buy a little bit from you. They're going to buy some tractors. They're going to buy some trucks and a few things like that. Is it going to be equal? No, not even close. We are a nation of 350 million people buying as many pineapples as they can possibly produce. They are a nation that only needs a little bit of equipment for farming. This is the same thing with Canada. They are a nation of 41 million people. We are a nation of 350 million people. Yet they import almost half as much as they export to us. That is not unfair. In fact, that's kind of benefiting us. I mean, if you think about it, we're a nation of 350 million people. They're a nation of 41, almost 42 million people. There is no way to have parity on the amount of booze that gets imported. It's not possible. Canadians, I know you hold your booze well. I know you hold your booze well. I know you like your booze. But there's no way for a nation of 41, 42 million people to buy on parity with a nation of 350 million people. It's just not possible. Physically, it's not possible. But that graph is what they're taking to Cletus, your dumbass drunk uncle, and saying, look how unfair this is. Well, if you're educated, you're looking at it saying, wow, we got a great trade deal there. They're buying almost half as much as they're shipping to us. And they're 1/6 the size. Wow, that's a good deal. Thanks, Canada. But no. They're going to try to bully Canada. And Canada has had enough. Canada is tired of the stupid shit. They just built a $6.4 billion bridge that they funded themselves because we whined like bitches and said we didn't want to. They fixed a problem that we didn't want to spend the money to fix, that our Republicans in Congress would not allocate the funds for. Do you think they wanted to fund all of it? No, they didn't. They wanted us to split the bill with them because we both benefit. We said no. Well, by we, I mean Republicans said no. So they paid for it themselves because the Canadians understand we need working bridges. And in comes Trump, the most corrupt, unfit president to ever sit in the Oval Office, flying by the seat of his shit-filled pants, surrounded by people like Pete Hoekstra, greedy motherfuckers like Nutlick and Scott Bessent, foreign policy being run by little Marco, slapping our allies in the face. I said this was going to come back to put a pin in Trump insulting Spain, Trump insulting Denmark, all of that. I said we were going to come back to the way he acted at NATO. But yeah, Canada's had enough. They have had enough. See, back in 2012, Canada shut down its embassies in Iran and Caracas, Venezuela. Why? Because we asked them to. We asked them to. As part of our plan to put pressure on Iran back in 2012, Canada shuttered its embassy in Iran. Well, you remember the earthquakes that just happened in Venezuela? Well, because Canada did this at our behest, Canadian citizens were taken care of at American embassies. See, when a disaster like this happens, you'll have Canadians that were traveling in Venezuela. You'll have Canadians that have homes in Venezuela that live there. You know, there are people that do that, folks. I mean, there are people that live in, multiple countries. Those people are typically serviced and cared for through the embassy. That's what the embassies do. Well, when you ask a country to shutter its embassy, part of that deal is you say, hey, we'll take care of your people. We'll respond. Well, Mark Carney realized, hey, when we were trying to respond to what was going on in Venezuela, not only were we having a hard time helping Canadians that were down there, we couldn't just help people in general because we didn't have an embassy there, and you're fucking incompetent. The Trump regime is completely fucking incompetent. We could not operate as a government that represents our values, that represents our people. We could not do it because we very stupidly agreed to go along with the United States of America and close our embassies at your behest. And now you're fucking us. So Canada's reopening those embassies. Canada is quite intelligently reopening their own embassies. They will not be relying on us anymore. And on top of that, sorry, I need another sip of coffee. I'm hollering too much. On top of that, we are about to ratchet up our trade war with Canada at the exact same time that our farmers are going to be hit again by shortages of fertilizer and fuel costs. We are going to ratchet up our trade war with Canada, whom we historically have traded with, wheat and staples of our food economy. At the exact same time that everything with Iran is collapsing because we have the stupidest, most worthless, most incompetent piece of shit president to ever hold the Oval Office. You'll see this come in the mainstream media next week, maybe 2 weeks at the latest. We are entering into another round of ratcheting up our trade war with one of our greatest allies. And Canada has had enough. And I don't blame them. I don't. I don't blame them. Everyone. Everyone is exactly where Canada's at. They are sick of our shit. They know how to manipulate Trump. Oh, you're doing fantastic. And that's what your drunk uncle hears. That's what he's shown on Fox. That's what Cletus hears. He's shown that on Fox. I promise you that clip of the NATO Secretary General just glazing Trump's knob is what they showed on Fox. Then Fox is going to somehow come up with a narrative to blame Democrats for the collapse in trade with Canada that is about to happen. And by the way, we buy fertilizer from Canada also. Yeah, folks. The reason I'm telling you this is you got to know what's coming. You got to know what's coming. You've got to control your own economics, your own spending, your own preparations, every which way you can by knowing what is coming. And this is coming. There's no way around it. The trade war with Canada is going to be ratcheted up. And it's going to hit you, both our Canadian friends that are here and our American friends that are here. It's going to hit all of us in the pocket because of this corrupt old son of a bitch. And Matty Maroon. And people like him. So yeah, that's what I have for you today, folks. Let me catch up on our comments. Skeets here. Has anyone looked at the topography of Iran? It would make Iwo Jima look like kindergarten. Yep. That is another reason I do not believe we're putting boots on the ground in Iran. Not at all. We are all bad people in Trump's eyes, especially when we don't kneel before him. What an honor. Yeah. I am sorry. I am truly sorry. He is not us. He is not. George Lynon Weber, thank you for always being here, brother. Glenn, thank you for being so generous and gifting the memberships. Skeets here. Canada has already started shipping oil to the provinces for gas. Sorry, U.S. cherries were nice and cheap, but U.S. beef got banned and beef is less. Yep. It is a mess. Crafty Ass Gardner, thanks for gifting the memberships. Jeremy Breeden, thank you for always being here, brother. Just think of how much better our lives would be if bigotry and misogyny wasn't so rampant in this country and Kamala and Walz were in charge. I know. Just think about it. My last name is Italian, so it is pronounced DeGioia. I promise you I will remember that. I promise you, Donna, I will remember that. Thank you. Chris Birch. Hey, Texas Paul, just wanted to say thank you and much love to you and Mr. Texas Paul. Thank you for being so generous, man. Cannot do it without you. I'm truly grateful. Bill, thank you also. Thank you very much. I understand $10, $20 is a lot of money. It is. And I'm very grateful. Jenny, 2025. I used to dream about visiting Canada. Now I dream about being Canadian. Yeah. I know so many people that are our generation are like, well, we should, we really need to think about moving to Canada. Guess what? You can't. There are age requirements. I mean, it is, we have to fix this ourselves. We have to fix this ourselves. Wendy Bauman, new conspiracies coming out of MAGA is Trump has been replaced by an actor. Well, he won't be getting an actor. They're an Oscar. They're afraid of assassin. Oh my God. They believe the most insane shit too. Dying Bree Garage. Hey, Paul, here with you as always. We're about to fall off a cliff. AI bubble is about to pop. Gas prices will skyrocket very soon. Start planning for shortages. It's about to get dark because Rump and the E-files, the Epstein files. Yep. That's the whole message of the show, folks. Be prepared. We've got to look out for each other. Be prepared. Amy Diaz, thank you for being here, Amy. I appreciate you. Awfully generous of you to give those memberships. Thank you. DTQ, aren't Republicans the ones that said life support was wrong because it is playing God? It depends. It depends on the narrative. You remember Terry Schiavo? And the way the Republic. Yeah, it depends. Which way the wind's blowing today? Wendy Bauman for the cussing pond. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate you. $20 is a lot of money. I'm truly grateful. Thank you. Jordan B. Miller. Iran owns Trump. Iran knows this is the fault of the United States and Israel. They do. They do. But never forget they're not your friend. Deborah Emery. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Gray Wisdom, member for 6 months. Thanks for the gift memberships. Texas Paul is you're too kind. You're too kind. I appreciate you. 6 months. Thank you for being here. E.T., more like a long-term hit job, but blew the timing. No, Count Boniface is a comedian that trolls right-wing media in Britain. He wears a garbage bin on his. Oh, that too. I've seen the guy. I didn't know that one. It didn't stick with me. I'll know it now. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Learned something new today. Veggie Owl Grove. For poor people, war is hell. For the rich, war is hell of a lot of money. Yep. Under construction for now. I think we should have a do-over anniversary celebration once the dump the rump administration. Yeah. No shit. This sucked, man. This sucked. 250-year anniversary. This felt like shit. E.T., it is nice to get updates on past deep dive shows. Well, I want people to have a real understanding of just, the entire, more of the picture. We got a lot of new people here now. We do. Oh, man, that is a nice hot cup of coffee. Skeets here. Does anybody know who Gordie Howe was? He played in the NHL until he was 60s. Elbows up, baby. Elbows up. Skeets there. Used to see the way he was barbecued by 2 reporters on 2 networks. Midas Canada is challenging him to a debate. I'm telling you, folks, so much of our institutions are crumbling. It's scary to think, what's holding on between the military, the Justice Department, our media. It's scary. It is scary. Rich Lawton, sorry, Canada, and sorry, world, for this orange stick storm we caused. Yeah. Shit storm we caused. Yeah. Thank you for the big support there. I really appreciate it. I'm truly grateful. Yeah, we apologize. Sorry. Jordan B. Miller, this is why the world will no longer trust the United States. The world is moving on from the U.S. Sadly, that is a true statement. E.T., it is less than 17 weeks until the general election. Verify your voter registration and deadline dates. Know your early voting dates. Get involved. On that note, great segue to this. You're going to notice, we were 2,000, 2,200, 2,400 people, and then the shows have been going over 3,000 in the live audience. They're going to keep picking up. We'll get back up to about 5,000 here in the next few weeks as the election gets closer. We are in that last gasp charge to the elections. We are there, man. We're well within the 6-month window. We are there. August, you're going to see a ton of you know what? Let me show you. Let me show you. 1 second. All right. Look, August is huge for primaries, just huge. $14. We got Alaska, Connecticut. Alaska's August 18th. Connecticut is August 11th. Florida is August 18th. Hawaii is August 8th. Kansas is August 4th. Michigan is August 4th. Minnesota is August 11th. Missouri is August 4th. Tennessee is August 6th. Vermont is August 11th. Virginia is August 4th. Washington is August 4th. Wisconsin is August 11th. And Wyoming is August 18th. All happen in the month of August. That is going to focus a lot of people's attention on this election. When you get a big bunch, it just nationwide, then even the media has to turn their focus to it. Then all the candidates will be set in place, and we get that hard charge of all the candidate speeches, all the news coming out about the candidates, all the October surprises, all of that drives interest through the roof. All the people that aren't us, that aren't wired into what's going on, will start paying attention. This is when it is most critical that our messaging be there, that we be, just 100% nailing it. And when I say nailing it, I mean those people that don't understand the bandwagon effect. Bandwagon effect has been used in advertising forever. When you get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I love this place," and commercials are designed to make it look like, "Oh, a bunch of people are going to KFC. Oh, but look at all the people enjoying the chicken." That is real. That is ingrained in all of our psyches. When you see a lot of people moving one direction, it affects you, whether you like to admit it or not. It does. It is called the bandwagon effect. Right now, we have way too many people on social media that want to seem smart and cool. I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. Because I don't think Democrats are worthy of me accepting that I actually support them. I don't think they're worthy. Then you get the people that are like, "Oh, well, we've got to destroy the Democratic leadership," and we have all these negative things that are constantly one thing. Did you hear what John Fetterman did today? The negative comments that are supposed to, the best people can do for positive comments that are like, "Well, I know the Democratic Party's not perfect, but they're better than Republicans." That does not create bandwagon effect. It does not. And then these same people at the end of the election will be like, "Well, let me tell you why people didn't turn out. It's because you didn't do what I said." No, folks. It's crucial that right now that we get on message. Vote Democrat. I'm a proud Democrat. I am a ride or die Democrat. It is crucial at this point that our messaging be nothing but positive. It is crucial that when somebody says something negative, it happens all the time. I've put posts out that are nothing but, "Hey, look at the way this Republican fucked up." There will be comments in the section, in the comment section, that are like, "Oh, the Democrats should have better messaging. They should be talking about this." They are. They are. You're just not informed. All you can do is talk shit about Democrats. That's all you can do. Stop it. Stop it. Bandwagon effect is real. We need to be very positive. We need to be pushing our candidates, talking about how great they are, getting, I'm just building excitement. This is when it happens. This is when it happens. No more division, no more any of that. This is when it happens. E.T., thanks for the comment, because it absolutely was a perfect segue. This is what we got to do, folks. Big Gizmo. This whole administration is disgusting. They engaged. They stay engaged, good people. Yeah, amen. That's the kind of thing we need to be talking about. Skeets there. They all have the same eyes. Yep. I hear you. Skeets there. Well, since weed is legal in Canada, hard liquor does not influence us. German beer is cheaper and tastes better. I'm telling you, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go the way that they think. They think they're going to bully Canada, and Canada is not there. Weird Idaho, they are not there for it. They are not. Weird Idaho liberal. It's all about culture wars and chopping off Mr. Rigor Mortis. With that said, I need to go to my litter box and take it. Oh, man. Oh, God damn, dude. Come on, man. E.T., when you weigh those figures by populations, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Mike Henry, thank you for being so generous. Thanks for gifting the membership. Netida, how are they going to get us ordinary people to buy your stuff? That's why it's not worth importing booze. I'm telling you, they're clueless. Netta, they're clueless. They have no idea. Donald Trump is literally flying by the seat of his shit-filled pants, and all he is focused on is, how do I look on Fox News? How do I look on? Do they think I'm tough? I mean, it is pathetic. Skeets here. Yep. And now we're making logistics easier for Europe and Asia from Canada. We could easily fix Corpus Christi issue, but you pissed us off like geese. That is not smart. I'm telling you, man. It is going to be so nice in 2028 to get back to competent leadership. We just can't get too comfortable. We've got to stay focused after 2028. And remember, there's a third branch of the government we've got to take back. Lori Johnson, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. Victor Harshman, just got a letter from Providence that our ACA subsidy medical insurance is ending January 2027. Vote blue. Yep. We talked about that. 8 million people have lost since Trump has taken over. 8 million people have lost their coverage through the Affordable Care Act exchanges. George Leinenweber, go Canada, love them. Yep. I love our Canadian brothers and sisters. Skeet Sarah, as a Canadian, I love my American cousin in the USA. We are all decent people. It is just amazing that we even have to have these conversations. This was so easy. These differences that they were concerned about as far as trade or they were lunch negotiations, man. It was so easy to fix. Jordan B. Miller, I hope you were able to pick up the package I sent you. I believe we did. I have to double check. Alvi, welcome. Glad to see you. Agent Cajun John, so happy to being back in Canada. I bet you are, brother. I know you were heartbroken. I know you were heartbroken, but I bet you are glad to be back in Canada, my brother. And thank you for the huge support. That at $50 is a lot of money, man. I get it. Ken LeClaire gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for being so generous. Thank you. Lost Aggie 66. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. Thank you. Lost Aggie, ride or die dim in the red area of Florida. All right. Well, look, folks, that's what I've got for you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending the time with me. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Chandra says, elbows up, go Canada. Amen. We love our Canadian brothers and sisters. We do. We know this is stupid. We're going to try to fix it. We are going to try to fix it. On that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night.